This is Affinity Canva, a really great photo editing software. It rivals Adobe Photoshop, and amazingly, it's absolutely free to download and install. Affinity Photo has what they call studios. The Vector Studio is for vector graphics. The Pixel Studio is for photos or scanned photos. The Layout is a desktop publishing program. And Canva AI is Affinity's AI tools for photo editing. Now, to use Canva AI, you have to have a subscription. I think it's about $10 a month, something like that. I'm not going to use Affinity AI. I do not have a subscription, so I'm going to turn off this studio. Now we just have the 3 studios. We'll start in the Pixel Studio. This particular scan of this treasured photo is a friend of mine's, one of her great-grandfathers when he was a child. You can see that the photo is really, really damaged. What we're going to do, I'm going to use this photo to demonstrate how these tools for correcting the photo work. Before I do, I'm going to go over here. This is the layers panel, and the original photo that's here is on this background photo. Now, before you do any photo editing, you should create a duplicate layer. The shortcut for that on practically all of these photo editing programs is Control or Command J. It makes another background layer. I'm going to rename this Edits. The tools that we're going to be using in the Pixel Studio are all over here on the toolbar. If you hover over a tool, it tells you what it is, and it even gives you a little paragraph as to how to use it. You can turn these things off if you want later on once you're familiar with the program. There's the crop tool, there's the object selection tool, and so on and so forth. The tools we're going to be using are down here. The clone brush tool, that's one of them, and then there's these tools here. I'm going to click on that. If it has another menu, it appears here in the middle of this space. And here are the tools: the in-painting brush tool, the healing brush tool, the patch tool, the blemish tool, and the red eye removal tool. Let's start with the in-painting brush tool. Now when you choose this, up here, this is called the context toolbar. It gives you all the settings that you can adjust to get a lot of variety out of this tool. But basically, for what we're going to be doing, we're going to keep these things at 100%. This one's 85. I'm not going to go into that at this moment. Okay? Now, there's one really important thing about this. You notice this little drop-down box. It says current layer or current layer and below. You want to keep this on current layer. That means that all the edits that we're going to do to this photo stay on this layer, the edits layer, but they will not affect the original photo. This is called non-destructive photo editing. In other words, we're not going to change the original photo. We're going to leave it intact. So in case we do decide something happens and we have to start over, we have the original photo. All right, with this tool, it's very easy to use. You adjust your brush by using the right bracket key to enlarge it, the left bracket key to make it smaller, or you can use this little box up here and do the same thing. But I pretty much use the bracket keys most of the time. Let's make the brush about this size, and let's erase a few lines. This brown line you should be able to see on the television. Press the left mouse button, drag over it. It makes that red mark. Release the button, and it corrects it. Look at this little spot up here. We'll correct that. How about something a little more complicated? Let's go over this, around here, up into his hair, and out. Pretty good job. This is even more complicated. This line starts in the background, goes into his hair, over his part, and down. Let's try that one. Really, really good. This is a great tool for doing lines and scratches, sometimes photos get folded and there's a crease in the photo. This tool works extremely well on that. Let's go to another tool. Healing brush tool. Now the healing brush tool is one of those tools you have to choose a target. So let's say we want to erase these two dots. To get the target, you move your brush to the area and you press down the Alt or Option key. It turns into those crosshairs. You click and you get a plus sign. That's the target area. Now we place it over here and we move it over and it replaces where those dots were with the area that the plus sign is moving over. So if we wanted to do this one, for example, we'll start and choose this as the target area, and we'll just pull it over that. Great tool for doing a lot of repairs on these sorts of things. As long as you can choose and do that. As long as that plus sign isn't going over another blemish or something, you can go all around and get a lot of stuff very quickly, very quickly. So it's a great tool. This is the patch tool. The patch tool is great for replacing larger areas. To do so, click the left mouse button, select an area, there we go. And then move your cursor to the area you want to replace it with. Let's say, I don't want that little white button there. Let's say, how about right there? And it cleans that spot up, okay? The next tool is the blemish removal tool. I'm going to remove our logo and I'm going to work in this section down here. Now this is a very detailed section. I don't know how clear it is on the television, but he's wearing a very detailed shirt. It's kind of a lace shirt. It's got a bow tie here. Hope you can see it. But this tool is a tool that you'll use a lot of. Why don't we zoom in just a little? Let me hit the Z key and the plus sign. If you want to zoom out, you press down the Alt key or the Option key and you zoom out. But we want to zoom in. There. If I want to move the photo, I press the space bar, the hand comes up and we move it up a little. Now we can see this a little better. Okay, back to the tool. You merely click over the blemish that I'm going to reduce the size of the brush, and so on and so forth. You'll zoom in on a face and you'll work on all these spots on the face, maybe make it a little smaller. You can repair so much with this blemish removal tool. There you go. Back to the zoom. Let's zoom out. Press the space bar, move it down. So now the real problem with this photo, the big problem here, is this. And to work with that, let's go and get this tool here. The in-painting brush. It's probably the most powerful tool in here, and let's try removing this. Now I'm not going to say that sometimes you have to do this multiple times, trying different areas, different settings, and what have you. But let's just try it like that and see what we get. Not so good. The green is kind of faded into here. It's always a problem. Let's just try the hair. It's still probably going to pick up on the black there. Let's see. That's better. Now, we've gotten this far. Now what I'm going to show you is the clone brush tool. This is a tool for doing detailed work. The clone brush tool is also one of the targeted tools where you have to select an area and then use it to paint. So we want this shade of hair to go up to here. So I'm going to put the target right here, press down the Alt or Option key here, select it, move my brush here, and just brush up a little with that hair. Now you see it's a little too strong. So what we can do is select another section over here and just brush there. Okay, not good yet, but you can keep working at it, fiddling around until you get it like you like it. We're getting there. Now that's not the greatest, but it's doing very, very well. The other thing that you can do with the clone brush is reduce the opacity. I'm going to reduce the opacity down to 36%. And now I can maybe brush over here and get some of that little hair detail to sort of overlay the color that we've already done. Or I could do the same thing here. Let me select this area. And then I'm just going to brush a little that way with the opacity down until I feather in the hair and get it to look more realistic. Now, we haven't spent but a few minutes, and this is kind of quick and dirty, so to say, but we have basically corrected this. And if you spend a little more time working with these colors and blending them in, using this clone brush tool, varying the opacity, you could get it to look very, very good. So that's the clone brush tool. I've now initiated my other photo editing software program, ON1 Photo Raw Max 2026. The reason I've done so is that ON1 has been one of the leaders in photo editing using AI modules. The tools that are used to correct this photo, I brought up the original photo with all the blemishes, lines, scratches, the black mark, so that we can try in a different way to get rid of this. And I can show you how the AI tool has been used to really get rid and do a wonderful job on something like this. The tools are over here. Yes. Okay. There's all the... it's the wrong one. Yes. Here's the tools in ON1. They have a healing brush tool. The perfect eraser is equivalent to the in-painting brush in the other program. Here's the AI module, which we're going to use, the generative eraser. There's a retouch brush and a clone stamp tool. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to use the perfect eraser to just very quickly go over a few of these lines and get them out of the way. All right. Now, let's try the generative eraser, which is the AI tool. Basically, you do the same sort of thing. You just go over what you want to erase. Then you hit the generate button up here. It's going to make a layer, and we give it a little time. Well, I would say that's pretty good. It is truly remarkable that at this early stage with AI, that they've developed tools that have gone this far. And there is not much telling what the future holds with regard to photo editing in AI. So there you have it. I thought you guys, I'm going to accept that change by clicking on the check mark up here. Now I'm going to cancel out. I'm not going to save my work. And I want to open up the finished product. There it is. I worked on this for a long time, spent a tremendous amount of time. I did blur the background here. And there you have the finished product. I worked and did this before I had the AI module. And I was able to, I think, get the hair to look pretty good. The person I was working with wanted me to return this to her in this form, just like this. She wasn't interested in having it cropped, but I thought having it cropped would be very good. And I thought just for a brief minute, I would show you how to crop a photo and add a frame to it. I'm going to the crop tool. It opens up this grid. And up here in the context toolbar, it has a context toolbar just like the other program. You can see the aspect is set to freeform, so you can do anything with this thing. Make it really, really small, really large. I think it would be better to try to do, let's see, there it is, 4:5 ratio or 8:10 photo. Well, it opened up in landscape, but you can change that by clicking on these arrows and switch the dimensions. There we go. Now, there is a 4, that would print up as an 8:10 photo. Let's get it kind of centered, and then just draw down the corners here and get it out of the black. And let's see, maybe go back up a little. That's good. And then maybe pull him over a little so that there's a little of the background beyond his sleeves on both sides. That looks like a good crop, so you accept it with the check mark up here. It'll crop the photo. Now to add a frame, I go to the effects module over here. There's the blur background. Just to show you, I'm going to turn it off by clicking on this blue button. I just blurred it a little, but enough that you got any remaining imperfections you don't see. And let's add the filter over here, borders. So it added a standard white border around the picture. You can change the scale of the border by moving this slider over here. There's an adjustment, so maybe like that. And you can fit the image, maybe about there. That would make a nice photo, but you're not limited to just a white border. You have a number of choices. I haven't counted them up, but it looks like about 35 choices. Just hold your cursor over there and you can choose the one that you like. I don't know, I kind of like that. Let's just do a pinline border for now. It's just a demo. And there you have it. Let's see, what can we do? Scale it a little? Yeah, we can, let's don't have it out so far, but we can go over something like that. Very simple to do a border. Well, that's the end of this particular video. The next video, I will show you some of the possibilities that I have encountered and the way I've worked on various photos to get them to a decent state. Hopefully to show you all the possibilities, or at least some of the possibilities that you can do with photo editing.